Hi, Year 7. Hope you're all okay. So we're carrying on looking at the universe. Today, though, we're going to focus on the solar system. We're going to be describing the properties of the planets and giving a bit more information about what's similar, what's different about them. Okay? The first half, because this is another double lesson, is going to be where we complete the Do Now Connect activity. There's going to be a video so you can have a watch of that and answer any questions and make notes. Then we're going to have a go at designing our own mnemonic. So that is going to help us to remember the order of planets, okay? Finally, you're going to use some of the information in the resources section. So there's a separate document for resources for you to complete the table comparing the planets in the solar system, okay? All of that is going to help you to answer the final set of questions for lesson 1 and complete the gap fill to consolidate, okay? Then in the second half of this lesson, you are going to have a go at designing your own travel advert or presentation explaining why people should visit your chosen planet. That is the task then that your teachers are going to be having a look at that you're going to submit to them, okay? As I said then in the first 2 night sky lessons, you're going to see lots of pink boxes along the way. These are just instructions for you, okay? So it will tell you what you need to do on each slide. Make sure you have a look, make sure you're following that. Obviously I'm going through as well, so you should know what you're doing. So as this is another double lesson, the first half of this is going to be where we are getting the new information. You're having a go at making sure that you're clear about the new information you've been given and using it to compare the different planets in the solar system. So as always, we're going to start with a bit of a Do Now Connect activity. You might have seen some of these before. What I'd like you to do is have a go at naming some of those objects that we find in the solar system. You might want to go back to your notes from the last 2 lessons and then ordering them in size from smallest to biggest. Okay, if that's a bit easy for you because you have seen some of these before, then I want you to have a go at the challenge task underneath, which is giving an example of a man-made satellite. Okay, and can you name the only natural satellite of the Earth? Okay. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do then is we're going to have a go at watching this video. Now to do that, you should find if you click through the PowerPoint, you're going to get the little video box symbol pop up with the little note about what you need to do. If you click on the video recorder symbol, you should find it'll take you to the video straight away, okay, as long as you're in present when you do it. Now, I need you to watch that video very carefully and have a go at answering the questions in the orange box. It might be worthwhile you having a look through these questions first so you know what you're looking out for. These aren't going to be marked, but you need to jot down your answers because they're going to be really important in helping you later on when you have to complete the apply task, okay? Okay, so the next couple of slides then are going to be new information for you that you need to make notes on. The first one here is going to be about the sun, which is the centre of our solar system. The reason we say it's the centre of the solar system is because all of the planets in our solar system orbit the sun, okay? It's also a star, which some of you might not know. Now, the sun, like all other stars, we say are luminous objects, okay? They emit light. So you have seen this diagram before, okay? This is a bit of a reminder from the night sky lessons about the solar system, about the planets in our solar system and the order of the planets, okay? So there are 8 planets in total that orbit the sun. There's 4 inner planets and 4 outer planets. We also have several dwarf planets and meteors, okay, within our solar system. What I'd like you to do now then is have a go at designing your own mnemonic or acrostic poem if you fancy to remember the name of the planets in the correct order. I tend to find a mnemonic's quite a good one for this and I've given you my example. So my very energetic mum just skipped up Nana's patio. You'll see that the first letter of each of those words is the same first letter as the planet in the correct order, okay? Now, I'd like you to have a go at this. I know some of you might not be so sure about how to create a mnemonic, whereas others will be. If you're not sure, if you have a go at clicking on the videos, okay, at the bottom there's 2 for you to have a watch of. It will just go through how to create a mnemonic. okay, and give you some examples of where to start. So again, you just have to click on the video recorder symbol and it should take you straight to that video as long as you click it while you're in the presenting mode, okay? Here's another example that I've come up with. My very easy method just speeds up naming planets. And just to help you out, I've highlighted the first letter of each word in my mnemonic and the first letter of each word in my planets in the correct order. So you'll see that they match up, okay? Can you review your mnemonic now and just check that you've got the correct order? And even more importantly, can you see if you can remember it, okay? So this next task then is one of the independent tasks. I know they're all independent while you're at home, but what I want you to do is use the information in the resources, okay, so you'll have to go to the resources document for it, to have a go at comparing all of the planets. So we're going to compare them in terms of their temperature, their distance from the sun, the diameter, tilt, number of moons, rotation time and orbit time. Now most of that information is in those resources for you, so you won't have to go looking for a lot of it. There's one or two things that you might not find. If you can't find it anywhere in the resources, okay, then it's up to you. You either leave it blank, or what would be really impressive is if you can go on the internet maybe, or whatever means you've got, to research and find that information out for yourself and add it in, okay? But that's completely up to you. What I'd like you to do though is make sure that you've completed the entire comparison table, giving the information for each of the planets, please. It's really important that we can then see what some planets might have in common and how planets are very different, okay? It's really important that you have a go at this. It might be that you need to write it out on a piece of paper, or alternatively, we have included a copy of the table, so you could always copy that for yourself and then edit it, okay? As long as you've saved your own copy first, you can type onto it. So as I was saying, if you download this PowerPoint, you can save your own copy, which you'll then be able to edit. So if you want to, if you find it easy, you can always type into this table. Alternatively, you can do it on paper, that's fine as well. Now we've completed that table, then we're going to use that information that we've gathered to answer these questions. So what I'd like you to do is use the information you've got in your table, any notes that you've made so far during this lesson, to have a go at answering the questions. These questions aren't going to be marked at this point, but it's really important that you've got that information for you so you can use it in the apply task in the next half of the lesson. Okay, so make sure you use your comparison table to help. That's the reason we've done it. If that's really easy for you, some of you it might be, there's a challenge task for you to have a go at. So if you've completed it quite quickly, have a go explaining why Pluto has been classified as a dwarf planet. You might even need to go and do a bit of research. That's absolutely fine. It'd be really interesting to hear your responses to that. Okay, so final task then for this half of the lesson. It's another consolidation task. So what I'd like you to do is have a go at copying and completing the sentences and filling in those gaps, okay? It's a 5-mark question, so it should take you around 5 minutes. But again, you can use your notes, take as long as you want. It's all about making sure that you fully understood what we've covered so far, okay? If you're finding it a bit tricky, there's some keywords in the yellow box to help you fill in those gaps, okay? So just give it your best shot. So as we said, this is another 2-part lesson. So this is the second half of the lesson. This is where we're going to have a go at the apply task, which is going to be to design a travel advert or presentation explaining why people should visit your chosen planet. So this is the apply task then, and the task is either designing a travel advert or presentation for your chosen planet. You are trying to persuade people to visit or go on holiday on this planet. So it's important that you describe the key features about your planet, so include the size, the distance from the sun, the temperature and the conditions that they might need to prepare themselves for, okay? It might be quite nice to say whether they need to pack shorts and t-shirts and a bikini maybe, if it's quite warm. It might be that they need sun cream and sunglasses because it's a bit too close to the sun. Or it might be that they need to pack woolly jumpers and a scarf because it's a little bit further away and it's a bit chilly, okay? That's entirely up to you. It depends which planet you've picked, but those are some things that you should include. I've also given you some basic sentence starters in orange for you to have a go at using if needs be to get you started. And if you're struggling, as always, there's a yellow help box, and we need to be using a support sheet to help us plan and structure your work. If you don't feel you need it, then don't use it, but it's there for you if you want it, okay? If you get this done and you feel like you need a little bit more challenge, which some of you will, then I'd like you to have a go at answering the question, how does distance from the sun affect the planet's properties? So for example, their surface temperature. Okay, now this task is your apply task, so it's what you're submitting to your teacher that they're going to have a look at, see how you've got on. So make sure we are using everything we've got so far in our notes. All that information that you've got in the first half of the lesson can be used here. Okay, now make sure you've had a go. If you want to do it on a PowerPoint presentation and you're able to, then obviously that's fine. You can do that and you can submit that through Teams if you want. You might want to do it on a Word document, that's also fine. Or you can do it on a piece of paper, whichever is easiest for you, whatever you want to do. Okay, so this is the last task we're going to do then for this double lesson, and it's another consolidation task, just to make sure that we're happy with what we've covered so far, that you understand the basics, okay, before we move on. So for this one, I want you to choose a consolidation task. You don't have to do all three, so you can choose from bronze, silver or gold, okay? So they get slightly more challenging as we move from bronze into silver into gold. Pick whichever one you want to do and complete it for me, please. Okay, again, this can be done on paper or it can be done electronically, it's up to you, but choose which one and have a go at answering it. Okay, you can still go back and use your notes, so by all means do if you're unsure or you can't remember.